Since I lost to the Silver Dragon Queen in the duel, I had to agree to meet her demands. After bidding farewell to daughters, I followed the Silver Dragon Queen back to her room. I have fulfilled all the requests made by the Silver Dragon Queen to me. However, she applied the improved blood curse to me. This caused our dragon marks to be activated. Am I going to be manipulated by her again? At this moment, it was already evening. The Silver Dragon Castle was also surrounded by night. The surroundings of the castle were quiet, except for 2 rooms where the lights had not been turned off. Noah and Muin were wearing nightgowns and kneeling on the bed. They blinked their big eyes and looked at the person sitting in front of them. Noah hugged her arms with both hands and frowned slightly, as if she didn't understand the behavior of the person in front of her eyes. Muin looked at the person in front of him with curious eyes. At this moment, the person in front of them spoke. "Noah, after I leave, you need to take good care of Muin. She's still young and immature, so as a sister, you should take care of her more. Muin, you need to listen to your sister and not make her angry. You should be obedient at home." The person sitting in front of them is none other than Leon. He pretended to wipe away tears while expressing his emotions affectionately at this moment. After leaving, the ones I'm most worried about are you. You are just over 1-year-old children. How could your mother bear to take me away? Watching Leon's vivid and emotional performance, Noah was somewhat speechless about it. She frowned as if she didn't understand Leon's behavior at this moment. "You're just staying in Mom's room for 1 night. Why does it sound like you're going to the execution ground?" Leon trembled all over when he thought of the various actions that Roswitha had done to him. He tightly grasped his clothes with his hands and showed a frightened expression to Noah. In a sense, beheading on the execution ground is just a momentary event. But your mother can torture someone all night. It's even more terrifying than execution. Noah watched her father passionately perform there with an expressionless expression. Muin seems to have understood what Leon said. She opened her big eyes and excitedly said to Leon, "Oh, I know. Mom is going to eat Dad, right? I saw in the book that after a female mantis marries a male mantis, she will eat the male mantis." In Muin's recollection, she once saw popular science about praying mantises and pictures of female praying mantises eating male praying mantises in books. This was similar to Leon's description. Leon was surprised by the child's imagination when he heard Muin say these words in a childlike tone. He replied to her expressionlessly, "Though this eating is different from that one. Dad is about to be eaten. Muin, why are you still so happy?" At this moment, a familiar voice sounded at the door of the room. "Well, don't talk nonsense to daughters, like I'm scary." Roswitha had already stood at the door at some point and heard the conversation between Leon and Muin. She was wearing a camisole nightgown and black stockings, leaning against the door, reminding Leon not to say strange things to the children. Leon raised an eyebrow and looked ahead expressionlessly. He didn't even need to think about it to know that it was Roswitha coming over. She walked towards Noah and Muin's bed and coaxed them to lie down on the bed. She leaned down slightly, helping them cover themselves with blankets while smiling and saying to them, "You should go to bed early. Don't worry, Mom just wants to discuss some interesting things with Dad tonight." Leon, standing behind Roswitha, watched her vigilantly. He sensed something was off with her words. Leon looked at her and asked a question. Interesting things. Roswitha answered leisurely. For example, the birth of the universe. Leon refuted her. Is it the birth of life? Roswitha ignored him and continued speaking. The mysteries of the world. Leon felt speechless about what she said. Is it a mystery of the human body? Noah and Muin watched quietly as Leon and Roswitha argued in front of them. Muin observed them with curious eyes, while Noah looked aside expressionlessly, uninterested in their topic. Roswitha watched as Leon had been staying here for quite some time, and immediately pulled Leon by the collar, wanting to drag him out of his daughter's room. Anyway, you've said enough goodbyes. Come with me now. Leon reached out his hand to the front with a helpless expression, as if he had something else to say to his daughters. Wait, I have some last words to say. After being dragged out of the room by Roswitha, Leon didn't forget to leave his last words for Noah and Muin. He spoke loudly in the hallway in a voice they could hear. Noah, Muin, remember, Dad will always love you. Finally, the footsteps of Leon and Roswitha gradually faded away, and the corridor slowly quieted down. They had already turned off the lights in the room and also closed the door when they left. Noah and Muin held each other's hands and prepared to sleep. Muin opened her eyes, turned around to look at Noah, and asked curiously, "What are Mom and Dad going to do?" Noah had already closed her eyes. She didn't want to think about anything related to them. She calmly answered the questions raised by Muin. "I don't know. Let them be. Childish adults." Leon followed Roswitha back to her room. After he sat down, Roswitha took out 2 bottles of red wine and placed them on the table, along with a few glasses. She sat casually on the sofa. She took a sip of the red wine in her own glass and couldn't help but praise its taste. She looked at Leon and noticed that he hadn't taken a sip of the red wine placed in front of him. She curiously asked Leon, "Don't you want to drink?" Leon sat on the sofa next to her. He frowned, closed his eyes, and crossed his hands in front of his chest. Obviously, he doesn't want to drink, nor does he want to face the current Roswitha. He quickly rejected her. No. Upon hearing Leon's answer, Roswitha's mood suddenly became unhappy. She won today's battle, but now he hasn't met her demands. She shook her glass and stared straight at him. She said to Leon in an unpleasant tone, "What's up? I remember you promised me that you would meet my demands after losing to me. But now you're not even willing to drink?" She held up her glass while feeling dissatisfied with him for not immediately fulfilling her request. Leon immediately sensed the mood of Roswitha at this moment. He sensed an aura of danger from her. He silently turned his head to the other side and nervously lied to her. I don't really feel like drinking right now." Although he told her so, in his heart, he silently reminded himself to protect his body. "I must stay rational. I won't let you manipulate me tonight." Roswitha didn't comment too much on Leon's statement. She put down her glass and suddenly shifted the topic to the fight between the two of them today. "Actually, I really hope you can win." Leon raised his eyebrows lightly, somewhat skeptical of her words. He looked up at her and asked her, Why? Roswitha stood up and walked towards the direction where Leon was sitting. She said to him in a relaxed tone, "If you win, I will have to give you a month's leave. You can take the opportunity to take good care of your body. Perhaps you will become more fun."
Hey! Have you heard about it? SF Light Novel is going to share a new comic. I have already shared a new comic. The name of this comic is The Blonde-Haired Villain. In Girl Overlord novel, also longs for happiness. I have already shared the relevant content of this comic in this video. You can click on this video to learn about the comic story and character information. If you are interested, you can subscribe to my channel and wait for the sharing of new comic.